Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. 81 million votes, the most popular president in American history. How many times did we hear the talking heads say those exact words? How many times were we told just how incredibly likable and popular Uncle Joe was and is? Well, it turns out that not only is Joe Biden not the most popular president in American history, it turns out that he's so deeply unpopular that even his own damn party wants nothing to do with him. And not just the voters, but the candidates as well. Joe Biden has become such a pariah. Joe Biden has become such bad political omen. It's almost as if the man is cursed, and nobody wants that curse to be passed on to them. Of course, we're talking about Ohio Democrat Tim Ryan, explicitly stating that he doesn't want Joe Biden to come to his state. And funny enough, just the other day, Joe Biden was asked about this, and well, his response was it was something else. Really eloquently said, really had me thinking. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so a little bit of context. Here's Tim Ryan when he was asked if Joe Biden should come visit his state to campaign for him.
I'm guessing you're not inviting the president to join you here in the campaign trail anytime soon?
No, I am not, and I'm really not inviting anybody.
Tim Ryan joins the extremely, and I mean extremely long list of Democrats who don't want Joe Biden to be anywhere near him. And like I stated in the intro, Joe Biden was asked about this, how Democrats continue to push him away, and his response was something else.
Tim Ryan in Ohio said he doesn't want you there. Warnock said wouldn't say. Do you think they're making a mistake?
No, there are 16 there I've already gone in for yet, and a lot more are asked. Another 20 or so. So I'm going to be going in.
Wow, this president has a real way with words now, doesn't he? Just beautifully said. No, but for real, I mean, what did this guy just say? I mean, what? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the president of the United States. This guy, he actually can't speak English. His brain falls apart. Look at his eyes. What is he doing? He looks possessed. He's lost, dazed, and confused, and can't speak English. No wonder even Democrats don't want anything to do with this guy. He's a disaster. If you're a Democrat, bringing this guy in to campaign for you is possibly the worst tactical decision that you can make, especially in some of these states. I mean, do you really blame Tim Ryan, a Democrat running in deep red Ohio, at least nowadays? Deep red Ohio, I think Trump won by 8 points if I'm not mistaken. Why would anybody in their right mind want this guy to come campaign for them? It can't possibly end well. What could this guy possibly add to your campaign? And the only person so far who's taken Joe Biden's help and called on him to join the campaign trail is none other than Pennsylvania Democrat John Fetterman. And well, not exactly a good look, didn't really end well. I guess the Fetterman camp strategy here might have been something along the lines of bringing in Joe because Joe's so mentally depleted that he might make John Fetterman look somewhat decent and cognitively aware. But as I stated, it didn't exactly end well. They did a campaign stop together, and apparently, John Fetterman didn't even speak a word. We've got this from the Post-Millennial. Breaking, John Fetterman doesn't speak at event with Biden and PA. Joe took the stage and John Fetterman just kind of stood there awkwardly and didn't say a single word. I mean, this is like the Bad News Bears, folks. What is this team? What is going on? What is the argument that these are the people who should be in positions of power? A Senate candidate who suffered a severe debilitating stroke, suffered damage to his brain and his cognitive function, cannot process auditory sounds and cannot speak properly, and this president who's basically in the same boat due to old age. How did the Fetterman campaign think that this was going to be a good idea? Joe Biden took the stage, and well, he was just so convincing. What a salesman. Pitching Democrat candidate John Fetterman to Pennsylvania voters.
Over $1.2 billion. And John, thank you very much for running. I really do appreciate it. And Zell, you're gonna be a great lady in the Senate.
My name is John Fetterwoman.
Great lady in the Senate.
Now Nothing but more gaffe-filled Joe Biden nonsense. And of course, more Joe Biden lies, claiming his grandfather was an All-American football player. I'd like to get a fact check on that one because I have just a small little feeling that it's yet again another Joe Biden campaign lie. But speaking of Joe Biden lies and Joe Biden gaffes, one of Joe Biden's gaffes on the campaign trail with John Fetterman was actually the first truth that he's uttered in months. Biden tells Fetterman's wife that she'll be a great lady in the Senate. She's not running. I'm struggling to keep my composure here. Had to walk away from the microphone a little bit. But it's just so comical. You have this old, brain-melting octogenarian who doesn't know what he's saying, what he's doing. Nobody wants him to come near their campaign. He shows up in Pennsylvania and goes to John Fetterman's wife and says, "You'll do great in the Senate." It's just so stupid. But he's not wrong. I mean, just like him, Joe Biden's basically his handler. It's the same thing for John Fetterman. They're one and the same. Here's John Fetterman during that campaign event where he didn't say a word, being questioned by the press, and it's very similar to the whole Jill Biden-Joe Biden dynamic.
Mr. Fetterman, are you satisfied with the progress of the bridge?
All right.
Who's in charge here? Who's going to be the senator? Is it John Fetterman or is it John Fetterman's wife? So far, it seems as though his wife is more in the spotlight than he is. This whole thing is like a cringe comedy skit. It's like an episode of The Office, except it'd be a whole lot more funny if it wasn't so serious. To move away from the whole Fetterman thing and get on the topic at large here, what we were talking about, what we were discussing, this whole Biden presidency thing has run its course, folks. It's clearly over. The guy's clearly done. Democrats have absolutely no choice but to remove this guy by 2024, whether that's impeaching him, whether that's using the 25th Amendment, whatever it is, he's done. It's over. He's losing to Donald Trump. And if he doesn't resign, if he doesn't step back, the Democrats are going to do it by force. They're going to use any means necessary to replace this guy. And it's really no surprise to anyone. Listen.
No, there are 16 there I've already gone in for yet, and a lot more are asked.
How is this real? Just sticking on the whole comical thing, Joe Biden is basically Steve Carell from Bruce Almighty. This whole thing was doomed from the beginning, except the copium Democrats somehow convinced themselves that this was going to end well for them. Well, clearly it isn't. And the greatest endorsement to that fact is very clearly that Democrats want nothing to do with this guy, with good reason, because he's a walking, talking disaster. He's a political curse. Everywhere he goes, everything he touches, it all turns to shit. Not a single high-profile Democrat in any of the most important races heading into the midterms want to come near this guy with a 10-foot pole. Frankly, more of a 100-mile pole. It's almost to the extent where these Democrat candidates are filing for restraining orders against this guy. Well, you know what? The American people probably feel the same way. And heading into the next two elections, those ballots are essentially going to be metaphorical restraining orders against the Joe Biden criminal regime. Everyone, including Democrats, are thinking and saying the same thing. Get this guy away from me, and certainly get him away from our children. Like I stated earlier, folks, the Joe Biden regime has played its course. This little experiment in history is over. People have had enough, and it's going to have some long-lasting effects in the political world. The Democrats are not just going to snap back from this. My prediction, it's going to take some time for them to recover. I'd say it's all shocking, crazy, surprising, but of course I'm desensitized. None of this stuff is surprising. Welcome to Clown World, where Joe Biden is your president. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it, of course. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.